2 years into our marriage, I had to rely on aphrodisiac incense to be with my husband, Jacob. During an intimate moment, he covered my eyes with a piece of clothing and chuckled. "Didn't you and your sister both study the classics? Would she resort to such measures just for a noble title?" In that moment, I understood. He had always wanted my sister, which was why he had always looked down on me. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the year of my coming, Revenge ceremony. The betrothal gifts from Jacob were still fresh in the courtyard, and the man before me, tall and imposing, the future duke, who would defend the nation, asked me what my heart desired. This time, I didn't ask him to vanquish the Xiongnu to avenge my brother. Instead, I said, "Marry me." My mother married down to be with my father. She had seen him, a handsome scholar, parading through the streets, and was convinced he was destined for greatness. She broke off ties with her family to marry him. My mother craved a noble title, and my father, as she had predicted, was brilliant. The year she was pregnant with my brother, my father's career soared, and he finally earned the right to request a title for her. She waited with joyful anticipation, only for him to bring home another pregnant woman. He made that woman his co-wife, and even secured a noble title for her. He said she was his childhood sweetheart, that they had been as good as married for years. He couldn't let her down. My mother, a proud noblewoman, was furious. She demanded to know why he had married her. He simply said it had been her own one-sided wish, but she didn't leave him. They lived in separate wings of the house, in a state of The day my brother was born, the co-wife also gave birth to a daughter. From then on, my mother had a new focus. My brother, she poured all her hopes into him, dreaming of the day he would earn her a title. My father wasn't biased towards his children based on their mothers. He simply favored the intelligent ones. So, while my sister and brother thrived, my life was a misery. Kneeling in the ancestral hall, copying texts, going without food. These were common punishments for falling behind in my studies, and I was always behind. It wasn't for lack of trying, but my siblings were geniuses, the pride of the capital. I didn't have their talent. In the end, it was my brother and sister who pleaded with the headmaster of the academy to accept me. He only agreed out of respect for his star pupils. For 3 years, I studied relentlessly, and my grades were respectable. People even started mentioning my name alongside my siblings. But my father had already given up on me. He ignored my greetings, and the handkerchiefs and other tokens of filial piety I made for him. He only used the ones my sister embroidered, even though the maids said my needlework was among the best in the capital. My mother was too preoccupied with my brother to pay me any mind. Only my brother and sister were kind to me. My brother would secretly share his nourishing meals with me, and my sister would buy me gifts, which she had to give me in secret. With their help, life was bearable. Until my coming. Revenge ceremony. That year my father grew even more tired of me. Drunk at dinner one night, he said he wanted to marry me off as soon as possible. I was so scared I couldn't eat. That same year, my brother went to war to earn merit and died on the frontier. My father didn't even hold a proper funeral. He was a cold man, and my brother's death was just another calculation in his political ambitions. My brother's death devastated my mother. She lost her mind, muttering his name all day. When she was lucid, she would just cry over his letters. I asked to see them, and she told me to get out. That bitch has a title, and I don't. She has a good daughter, and my son is dead. I have nothing. Why did I have to give birth to a useless thing like you? Just then, Jacob came to our house with a marriage proposal. He wanted to marry me. The proposal was a godsend, saving me from being married off to a 70-year-old minister. It also revived my mother. She grabbed my hand, her old fire returning. Good, you hooked him. Why didn't you say so sooner? I didn't know what to say. I barely knew him. He was a friend of my siblings at the academy, and would occasionally call me little sister. My mother didn't care. The son of a marquis, such a good match. You'll be a lady. Remember, you must be respectful to your in-laws, and most importantly, get him to secure a title for me as soon as possible. Title, always the title. Her laughter echoed in the dim, cold room. I could only nod. Life in the Marquise's residence was better than at home. But Jacob, who had been the one to propose, was cold to me. On our wedding night, he lifted my veil, glanced at me, and left without a word. His parents were polite but distant. For 2 years I served him and his parents diligently, finally earning the respect of the household. But I never won over my husband. He never requested a title for me. His parents, seeing my plight, advised me, "You and Jacob have been married for 2 years. It is time to think about having children. A child will secure your position and a title." I took their advice, and with the help of an aphrodisiac incense, our intimacy increased. One night, after a few drinks, he pressed me down on the bed. "You used the incense again tonight, didn't you?" he murmured, his lips on mine. Afterward, as I lay there exhausted, he covered my eyes with a piece of clothing and chuckled. "Didn't you and your sister both study the classics? Would she resort to such measures just for a noble title?" In the darkness I froze. "What do you mean?" "Nothing," he said slowly. "It is just that you are nothing like her. Do you know? She has become a female official. She debates politics with men in court. How impressive. And you—" He stopped, but I understood. "Then why did you marry me?" He laughed, a lazy, mocking sound. "I am the heir to a marquise. Do you think I would stoop to marry a mere minister's daughter for her talent or beauty? Of course not. The woman with talent and beauty was my sister. I was simply fulfilling a request. In that moment, I understood. He was cold to me because he had always wanted my sister, and he had always looked down on me. He left, and I felt a deep, chilling weariness. I fell into a deep sleep, thinking I would never wake up. But I did. The first thing I saw was my maid, Iris's tearful, joyful face. "My lady, it is wonderful. You don't have to marry the old minister. The Marquise's son has sent his betrothal gifts. He wants to marry you." Looking at her young face and the familiar room, I began to tremble. I was back to the year my brother died, the year Jacob proposed. I was 15 again. The betrothal gifts had only just arrived. The formal process was not yet complete. I took a horse from the stables and loaded it with the gifts. "My lady, what are you doing?" Iris cried, chasing after me. "I am breaking off the engagement. Wait for me here." I rode to the Marquise's residence and returned the gifts. "The engagement is off," I said, and turned to leave. "Emma," a voice called out. It was Jacob, furious. "You are breaking off the engagement." I looked at him and saw something familiar in his eyes. The Jacob before me was not the 19-year-old heir but the 21-year-old man from my previous life. He had been reborn too, but it didn't matter. "Yes," I said, "thank you for your past consideration, but it is no longer necessary." When I returned home, my father, his face contorted with rage, slapped me. "You insolent girl, how dare you break off the engagement?" I took the blow. "The Marquise has sent word that he doesn't mind. Now go and kneel in the ancestral hall until the gifts are sent back. If this marriage falls through, I'll hold you responsible." My sister stood behind him, her eyes full of tears, shaking her head. I smiled and touched my swollen cheek. "All right, I'll go see Mother, then I'll go and kneel." My mother was lucid when I went to her. She was sitting in the dark, reading a letter by candlelight. "Mother," I pleaded, "brother is gone. Father won't even hold a proper funeral. He is a heartless man. Please leave him. I'll take you away. I have some savings. We can buy a house and live on our own." Her reply was another slap. "Why did you break off the engagement? Do you want me to be a laughingstock? Why did I even give birth to you?" She started to cry. I wiped my own tears in the darkness. "This is the last time," I whispered, "the last time I will ever consider your feelings." My sister was waiting for me outside. She had heard everything. She held me, her tears hot on my forehead. "Why did you do it? Life in the Marquise's residence would be better than here. Ethan is gone. I can't protect you. Please, just go and live there, okay? You gave him up for me," I said, clinging to her. "What about you?" "I'll become a female official. As long as I achieve something, Father won't make things difficult for me." In my past life, she had done just that. But now the system was new and uncertain, yet she had chosen this difficult path for herself. "You will succeed," I said, a tear escaping me. "You will wear the jade crown, meet the Emperor, and leave your mark on history. But I am not going to the Marquise's residence. I am going somewhere else. Sister, please help me one last time." She helped me sneak out of the house. I went to the deserted general's residence with the half of the embroidered pouch my brother had left behind and knocked on the door. A tall, handsome man with striking features opened it. He was taken aback by my swollen face. "Does your offer still stand?" I asked. Andrew nodded. "It does." "Good," I said. "Then I want you to marry me. I will go with you to the border. I will find my brother's body and give him a proper burial." In the academy, my brother's best friend had been Jacob, but after entering the court, he had also become close with Andrew. Andrew was the Emperor's nephew. After his parents died on the battlefield, the Emperor had spoiled him, and for a time, he had been a notorious rake. But people didn't know the whole story. In 2 years, this seemingly dissolute man would defeat the Xiongnu and bring peace to the land. When my brother died, Andrew had come to me, saying he had been entrusted to take care of me. He had asked me what I wished for. I had tearfully asked him to avenge my brother. He had agreed without hesitation. I would have done that anyway. "I came to ask if you had any other wishes. Ethan said you were not happy at home. If you wish, I can take you away." I had shaken my head then, not trusting the words of a man with such a reputation, but now I knew he had never lied. Hearing my request, the man before me blushed and stammered, as if at a loss. "I won't be a burden," I added quickly. "We can just be a pretend couple. Once I find my brother's body, we can divorce, or if you want to annul it." He gently covered my mouth. "Don't worry," he said, not looking at me. "It is not that. Yes, I will marry you." A weight lifted from my shoulders. I gratefully squeezed his hand. He chuckled. "No, thank you." He brought me inside and treated my bruised face. "How did you get these?" "It is nothing," I said. "I am used to it, can you? Marry me soon. If we wait too long, I might not be alive to see you again. If my father found out I had run away, he might just break my legs." His hand paused. His face darkened. "All right. As soon as this is done, I will go to the palace and request a decree." He accompanied me back to my family's home. The doorkeeper, Uncle Jung, was relieved to see me. The betrothal gifts from Jacob were back in the courtyard. Seeing them, Andrew grew agitated. "I'll have my gifts prepared by tomorrow." "It is all right," I said. Whether you have them or not, I will marry you. We ran into my father and Jacob in the hall. My father was about to strike me again, but Andrew stepped in front of me, his hand on his sword. You dare. Jacob cleared his throat. Uncle, don't forget what you promised me. I want her to arrive at my residence in one piece. He was staring at me. She will not be marrying you, Andrew said. Andrew. Jacob sneered. What are you doing here? I am here to propose. Just then, the emperor's most trusted eunuch arrived with a retinue of palace maids. I hope I am not too late. Emma, Andrew, receive the imperial edict. We all knelt as the eunuch read the decree, announcing our marriage. The emperor has asked me to tell you, the eunuch said to Andrew, now that you are to be married, you should stay in the capital and not go back to the battlefield. I grew anxious. If he didn't go, who would defeat the Xiongnu? Please thank His Majesty for his concern, Andrew replied, but I must go to the border. I have sworn to serve my country. I was relieved. After the eunuch left, I whispered to Andrew, You can go. I'll wait for you at my family's home. But he was hesitant to leave me. It is all right, I assured him. With the edict, my father won't dare to harm me. He gave me his sword. If anyone dares to bully you, draw it. I will bear the consequences. I smiled. All right. As he left, Jacob grabbed my arm. He said we had unfinished business from our past life and needed to talk. I went with him. He was a mess, his eyes red and swollen. Is it because I didn't get you a title that you are leaving me? He choked out. Emma, you can't do this. I had already spoken to the emperor. The edict for your title would have arrived the next day. I gently removed his hand. You've misunderstood. I no longer want a title. Why? He cried. It is not worth it. My parents weren't worth it. My family wasn't worth it. A title wasn't worth it. And being a marquise's wife wasn't worth it. From now on, I will live for myself, and without me, you are free to marry whomever you wish. Let's part ways amicably. A few days later, Andrew came to discuss the wedding. I told him I wanted it to be simple. No grand procession, no banquet. Just a sedan chair to take me to his residence. He was at a loss. But a wedding is the most important day in a woman's life. Are you sure you want it to be so simple? Yes, I said quietly. My parents didn't deserve a formal farewell. My brother was dead. My sister was trapped, and I had no other close friends. Besides, we're just a pretend couple. You'll have to marry for real one day. It wouldn't be right for me to have a lavish wedding. He said nothing, a hollow look in his eyes. The wedding was simple, but since his parents were gone and he was the emperor's nephew, we went to the palace to pay our respects. When we returned to his residence, I was surprised to find a small banquet prepared. I am sorry. I took the liberty, he said quietly. I thought, since we're leaving for the border soon, it would be a good opportunity for a final farewell with friends and family. A warmth spread through my chest. It is all right. Thank you for inviting my sister, the headmaster, Iris, and Uncle Jung. The headmaster, her eyes kind and wise, took my hand. It is strange how things turn out. You two used to practice calligraphy in the same room, and now you are married. I looked at Andrew, confused. He just shook his head with a smile. She must have been mistaken. When your brother and sister first asked me to take you as a student, she said slowly, I was reluctant. I lowered my head in shame. I had never been as gifted as them. I agreed to let you study with me for a month, but in less than a month, I regretted it. I should have taken you from the start. I have taught many geniuses, but I have rarely seen a student as hard-working as you. You were so determined to stay, You barely ate or slept. You reminded me of myself when I first came to the capital to study. You've done well, Emma. Don't ever belittle yourself again. I had never received such praise from her, not even my siblings had. Tears streamed down my face. Andrew offered me his sleeve, and I took it without hesitation. On our wedding night, we sat awkwardly on the edge of the bed. "You should sleep," he said, and started making a bed on the floor. I couldn't sleep. "Are you awake?" I asked. "Can you tell me about my brother?" He told me about the harsh winds of the frontier, about the golden light on the armor, about my brother's brilliant strategies. But then he told me of the Xiongnu's treachery, how they had ambushed the diplomatic mission my brother was a part of, killing them and displaying their bodies on the city walls. Andrew hadn't found his body, only the half of the pouch I had embroidered for him. They colluded with a traitor in our own ranks. "I will not return to the capital until the Xiongnu are defeated." "I believe you," I said through my tears, "and I would not return until I found my brother's body." The day the army departed, a new, unwelcome face appeared among the soldiers. Jacob, in silver armor and a red cloak, sat on a black stallion, his gaze sweeping over me with disdain. "The world doesn't only have one talented general," he said, riding up to me. "And besides, Emma, you know we're not ordinary people." He was talking about our rebirth. "You will eventually realize you chose the wrong person. With me here, he won't be made a duke this time." In my past life, Jacob had been a successful court official, well versed in military strategy. He was here to steal Andrew's glory. Despicable, I seethed. "So what? He stole my wife. He won't have an easy time." He rode off. I wanted to pull him off his horse. I turned and saw Andrew, holding the reins of my horse, his eyes clear and gentle, completely unaware of what was to come. My heart ached. I hadn't married him to bring him harm. "Did you know? Jacob is also going to the border." "I know," he said, his expression calm. What if Jacob is a brilliant strategist and defeats the Xiongnu before you do?" I asked, my voice trembling. He laughed and pulled me into an embrace. "That would be for the best. The sooner the Xiongnu are defeated, the sooner the nation is at peace, and the people are safe. It doesn't matter if the glory is not mine." Lying against his chest, listening to his strong heartbeat, I knew that Jacob could never compare to him. At the border, I opened a small embroidery shop while I searched for my brother's remains. Andrew said he would be back every few days. But it was a month before I saw him again. He was apologetic, and I found myself feeling a strange sweetness. No one had ever rushed home for me before. He told me that Jacob, using his knowledge of the future, had gained a reputation as a brilliant strategist. Thanks to him, we're planning to attack and retake the city of Yanzhou soon. Yanzhou was where my brother had been killed. It was the most likely place to find his body. 2 months later, we retook the city. I saw Andrew again, tanned, and even more handsome. The soldiers were teasing him about being so soft-hearted with his wife. Jacob was there, his face a grim mask. I ignored him, and told Andrew I had repaired his armor and added a heart guard to it. He blushed and pulled me closer. I began my search for my brother's body. The people of Yanzhou, in their anger, had collected the bodies of the murdered envoys. There were 100 envoys, but only 56 graves here, Andrew said, his voice full of pain. The people collected their belongings and even drew portraits of their faces, hoping their families would one day come for them. But my brother's things were not among them. I had never given up hope. I continued to open my shop in every city we retook, searching for any trace of my brother, and every time Andrew returned from battle, the sight of his intact heart guard would bring me a sense of peace. I had started to see him as family. One day he was carried back, injured. I was terrified, my eyes immediately flying to Jacob, suspecting him. He just lowered his head, his face full of pain. "It is just a small wound," Andrew said, "but I saw the broken armor, the shattered heart guard. The doctors assured me that thanks to the heart guard, the arrow had not pierced his flesh." "It was my fault," Jacob said to Andrew. "I owe you for today. I will find the traitor who leaked our plans." That night, Andrew and I were lying in bed. "Were you my classmate?" I asked. He admitted that he had been. He had been sent to the academy to recover from an injury, and had seen me there studying relentlessly. "I fell for you the moment I saw you," he confessed. "When you asked me to marry you, I was overjoyed, but seeing your bruised face, I was so angry. You said we would only be a pretend couple, and my heart fell. But I was just happy to be able to help you. We were from different worlds in our past life, but now we were husband and wife. We owe each other a cup of wedding wine, don't we?" I said, my eyes full of tears. "Yes," he whispered, and kissed me. My brother's leg healed faster than his eyes. He had been blinded when he was hit on the head while escaping the Songnu. The doctors said he would regain his sight once the blood clot in his brain dissolved. He refused to return to the capital. "I will return as a victor," he said, and went back to the battlefield as a military strategist. I knew that day was coming soon. Epilogue: the army returned victorious, 6 months earlier than in my previous life. The emperor was overjoyed, and Andrew, as before, was made a duke. Jacob, tempered by the battlefield, had become a true friend to Andrew, his initial malice long gone. At the celebration banquet, I saw my sister, dressed in the robes of a female official. After the army's return, everyone praised my father for his brilliant children. But his life was not easy. I would not acknowledge him. My sister had moved out with her mother, and my brother had done the same with mine. The heartless man was finally reaping what he had sown. My mother, with the help of the best doctors, had recovered from her madness. She was full of guilt, and tried to reconcile with me, but I just smiled and kept my distance. I didn't hate her, but I couldn't forgive her. It was enough that we could live in peace, in our separate houses.